Thank you guys so much for hopping on our call tonight. We have a super amazing guest, and I'll get to her introduction in just a bit. Before I get to her, I'm going to cover just a couple things with you guys. First, starting off with some recognition. You guys, we have so many people on this list, it's insane. So the people who've already locked in Success Club, Nicole Faulkner is leading the way. She's got 24 points. Myself, Chelsea, Brandy, Ashley, Sarah, Sandy, Ashley, lots of Ashleys, I should say the last name, Mallory, Jessica, Tiffany, Caitlin, Erin, Andrea, Rochelle, Ashley Hook, Nicole, Kristen, Caitlin, Lauren, Jessica, Carly, Jackie, Nicole, Tara, Justin, Heather, and Sandy. Congratulations, you guys. You've locked it in already. So my tip to you guys is don't take your foot off the gas. You want to keep pushing this last week or however many days there are left so that if you get more people to join your groups, awesome. If not, you're going to get them early on in February so that you don't have to be stressing towards the end of the month. So now connect with new people, start inviting new people so you can hit the ground running next month. People who are almost at Success Club. We've got Gina, Holly, Heather, Travis, Gretchen, Amber, Lauren, Sherry, Greg, Harrison, Kate, Tessa, Brooke, Lana, Kenny, Caitlin, Allison, Ashley, Paulette, Michelle, Tara, Ashley, Jennifer, Lori, Christine, Amanda, Alexander, Jen, Julianne, Kiani, Amanda, Danielle, Paige, Jennifer, Carrie, Bailey, Zoe, Karen Zingle, Liz, Idris, and Marlinda. I'm stopping there because all of you guys, that's a super long list. If I just listed your name, you only need to help one more person. One more person get the new All Access Challenge Pack, and you've hit Success Club. So that, just one more person, you guys, that is not a lot of people. It's just one. So make sure that you guys are following up with people that you've invited in the past. And if you don't have any follow-ups to do, connect with new people so that you can then invite them, and then you'll be able to follow up later on. So you guys are like insanely close. I hope that all those people I just listed should be at Success Club by the 31st. And then we have the special Lindsay, Dee Dee, Megan, and Krista. All of you have 1 point. So you guys just need to help 2 people. Again, totally doable as long as you're connecting, inviting, and then following up with those people. So hopefully all of us will lock it in by the end of the month. Lots of time left if you're doing those daily activities. This list only gets updated once a month. So it'll be updated in a couple weeks for February, but we've got myself and Nicole Faulkner for the team leader level on the leadership ladder. Team builder, we've got Ashley, Michelle, Carly, Nicole, Jessica, and so Nicole Bowers and Nicole Maston. And then business starters, Gina, Jackie, Andrea, Tiffany, Taylor, Lauren, Shannon, Ashley, Chelsea, Ashley, Brandy, Kristen, Travis, Justin, Caitlin, Bailey, Gretchen, Mallory, Sandy, and Megan. If you have no idea what this is, you guys, this is the leadership ladder, which truly is an indicator of overall success. Success Club, this list is really amazing, and that's how you know you're moving your business forward, but the leadership ladder is overall success, growth, income, progression, all of that. So get familiar with the leadership ladder, and the goal is team leader or above. Quick reminders. Hopefully you guys know the Challenge Pack promotion. The only one on sale right now is the All Access BOD. This is when you get every single program that we have to offer on demand, plus Shakeology, plus portion-controlled containers. All of that's on sale for $199. That will go off sale in February, and I've heard through the grapevine that it's going to be increasing to either $250 or $300. Keep that in mind because that's a significant increase. Promote this, not in a salesy way, mostly through private messages, but huge, huge, huge deal that this is on. This week's focus, since it is the end of the month, I really focus on follow-ups at this point. Follow up with anyone who has ever told you no, which kind of turns into a re-invite. Anyone that you've invited in the past, anyone that kind of stopped responding to your messages, follow up. and also share your story so that when you do follow up, they're going to go to your page and they're going to see, okay, who is this girl really? And what is she all about? And so when they go to your page, you want them to catch a glimpse into your life. And then extra, we've got a sneak peek that I'm hosting on Thursday. So tomorrow evening, I'm going to be going live and talking about what we do as coaches and all of that good stuff. So invite people to that. To get the link to join, search in Fit Vibes Tribe, just search sneak peek. And one of the top, that post that I did yesterday will pop up and you'll get the link. Just quickly, I actually have 2 transformations of the week. So our guest, I actually met her through Lana Lawrence, and so I asked her to share just one of her transformations that she's helped her coaches and her clients get, and she sent me so many amazing ones to choose from, and I was like, I shouldn't share all of them. So I picked 2 of them. We have Brittany Hughes, before and after, and Brandon Barkley. Both of them actually did 21-day fix, and when I saw these photos, especially Brandon, I was like, holy crap, that's like insane, especially in 21 days. So shout out to Lana for being their coach and mentoring them and helping them get the results. And then Brittany and Brandon, if you're on or watching the replay of this, amazing job. Okay, we made it to our guest speaker. We have Caylie Brown. Let me stop sharing. And so I did meet her through Lana. Lana met her on Instagram, I believe. And she has like an amazing, inspiring story. I feel like I'm probably going to cry when she starts sharing it. But Caylie, you can unmute yourself and then share a little bit about you and jump right into what you have to share with us.
So a little bit about me is that I'm from Abilene, Texas. My name is Caylie Brown, and I'm from just a little small town outside of Abilene. I was raised by my mother, and my biological dad died when I was 3. And so I didn't have the father figure there. After his passing, I had got diagnosed with asthma and anxiety, and the anxiety was obviously from his passing and all. And so as along from the years from about, it was probably about from when I was 3 up until about 5, I would constantly cry a lot. And I could talk probably maybe a little bit then, but I wasn't able to express the pain that I was in. So I would go around when I was crying, I would hold my head, and no one ever knew what was wrong. I couldn't tell anybody, but all they knew was I was holding my head. So at that time, my mom knew that obviously something was really wrong. So she took me to my pediatrician, and my pediatrician told her that we were going to do an MRI. So I'm sure you might know what an MRI is. It's just it's a bigger version of an X-ray, basically, is what it is. You just go in a tunnel and they take pictures of your brain. And they did the MRI and coming to find out that I had Chiari-1 malformation. So Chiari-1 malformation is where the brain goes into the brainstem and causes the fluid not to flow correctly. So if a good way to describe it is imagine a funnel, and imagine a ball going into the funnel and the funnel being blocked. So in the back of it's a mid-neck back of my head. That is where the malformation was. So you can go on throughout a lot of your life without knowing you have it. Most doctors rate Chiari from a 1 to 10. So 1 being you have the malformation, but you don't really have any symptoms. It's not affecting you. It's nothing really that bad. And when you get diagnosed with a 5 or up, 5 is being where you start having symptoms, where you start feeling a lot of the pain, or it starts causing other problems. Chiari is a root problem of a lot of other diseases. Mine had caused seizures, sleep apnea. I had a lot of different kinds of diseases, and it all rooted back from the Chiari. And so when I first got diagnosed, I was 6. So in a long time period from 6 into 10, I was having seizures. I was having the sleep apnea, and they would do an MRI about every 6 months. So every 6 months I'd have the MRI, just to check to see the malformation and how much it's grown, or if it's grown any. And every 6 months, there'd be a little change. I mean, they go by centimeters is how they really do it. And so every 6 months we do that. When it came to that, I was 11, we did an MRI, and it showed that my Chiari, I believe, was at a 4, I think is what it was. And so he said they're going to start watching a little closer, start monitoring it, because I was starting to have more symptoms. And so when it came that I was 11, I believe, 11, almost 12, they did an MRI and it showed that it was at a 5. So what they decided to do is start watching it more frequently, and I was starting to have more symptoms. And so they decided to do an intracranial pressure monitor, and that is where they go in, they drill a hole at the top of your skull, so about the top right there, and they put a monitor on my brain. The monitor was about the size of probably about a pin tip, and they left it there for a week. And this showed you have so much fluid in your head, and the fluid, a normal amount of fluid ranges from 1 to 10. And that's an average person's fluid. And you can tell if you go to the eye doctor and they ever check your eyes by the pressure, they're checking the fluid in your head. That's another way that they do that. They had went in and did that. And so when I would stand up, when you stand up, it's supposed to elevate a little bit, but mine would drop into the negatives. That's why I got lightheaded, that's why I got dizzy, and that's why I was having the problem when I would stand up. So when I would lay down or I wouldn't even really be doing that much. If I was just sitting there, just minding my own business, it would be up in the 30s and 40s. And that was why I was having the pressure-like headaches, the lightning shocks, the stabbing pains. And so that they figured out that that's what it was. And so when they figured that out, they said they're going to continue watching it, because about it when it's at a 5, they don't want to touch it, because it can stay at a 5 for 10 years and you'd be fine. You might have the symptoms, but it's not gonna affect you as bad. The higher and higher your numbers go up on how long it is or how big it is when your symptoms start occurring and more problems start to come. So about a year or two went by, and I was starting to have more problems. And so my headaches were increasingly, and I was getting more dizzy. The seizures were occurring a lot more. And so they went in and did my second intracranial pressure monitor, which is the same surgery I had the first time. And when they went in, the pressures were still about the same. They were a little bit higher, but I was also I was having a lot of issues standing in my speech. I had a really bad speech impairment, and so I had a speech impairment for about 6 months to a year. And they decided that they would wait 6 more months, and if my symptoms got increasingly worse, then that's when they decided that they were going to do a surgery at that time. And so along in that time period, I was having the really bad headaches, and most of the headaches that I have were very hard to control. So people with Chiari headaches, they always get misdiagnosed. Whenever you go in and see a doctor, they're always saying, oh, you just have migraines. That's what I first got told, was that I had migraines, and that I just had to take the migraine medicine, relax, and be fine. And that never happened, never was the case. I had seen up to about 6 neurologists and migraine specialists as well as that. And nobody could figure out exactly like what kind of pain, like the pain, how I could tolerate the pain. And so a lot of doctors, whenever, if you're older and you get diagnosed with this, then it's really hard to catch, because like I said, you get misdiagnosed. And our neurologists that we have, our neurologists are very specific. We have the neurologist for seizures, migraines, and so on. But our actual Chiari doctors are very rare to find in themselves. Chiari is a very rare disease, and not many people in the world have it. And the people who do have it they're usually suffering pretty bad. And no one knows. No one comes forward. I never came forward with anything that I had, because I was so embarrassed because of all the symptoms I had. I never was in public school. I went to public school in 3rd and 6th grade, and the rest of the time I couldn't go because of my headaches. I was so physically drained. You have like most of the symptoms are fatigue, headache, dizziness, nausea. Those are, and they're most common symptoms of most diseases. And so you would really never know, but I was never in public school. I couldn't go out and do many things because it always was holding me back. And so when I had turned, I believe it was I wouldn't say end of 2013, beginning of 2014, we had went and he told me that he wanted to do a Chiari decompression. And Chiari decompression, so the intracranial pressure monitors, those are not as risky, but risky as in like 50-50 kind of chances, though they're not as bad. But Chiari decompressions, they're very hard to do. One being that they're around your brainstem and spinal cord. and two being that their complication rate is really, really high. So what they did is they told me they were going to do the QR decompression. QR decompression is where they go in and they take out all the bone around your brainstem and spinal cord. And where they're at is there's your brainstem, your spinal cord, the bone around your brain. Behind that bone is your dura. So the dura is the opening to your brain. So when they went in, they said, depending on how it looked, they would have to thin my dura and see if it just depends. It depends on how much fluid you have and what it looks like whenever they open you up, obviously. So a QR decompression, the survival rates usually of those are 50-50. Each case is different. That's what mine was. And so they went in, and it was about a 4.5 hour long surgery. And you would think being in brain surgery, it would be, 8 hours. Most surgeries and brain surgeries that I've been around and I've seen what my friends had are 8 hours. They're long. But mine was about 4.5 hours. And so he went in and everything was going fine. He took out the bone out and everything. But at the very end of it, it was believed that when he was taking the bone out that he had somehow hit or did the littlest move in there can cause so many problems. They don't know exactly what had happened, but he had claimed that that's what it was, that he had just probably made a little move and didn't know what the outcome was going to be. So after having the surgery, it took me about 2.5 days to wake up from the surgery because me and anesthesia, I don't wake up at all. And most people with anesthesia, so like most brain surgeries most surgeries that people have, they put you asleep enough that you don't feel anything. For brain surgeries and usually heart surgeries, they put you completely to sleep. They put machines on everything on you, and machines are working all your organs, everything for you. And so that's why it took me so long, because I'm not good with anesthesia, and then with my organs the way that they were, or just weren't good enough as it is. So it took me 2 days to wake up, and when I finally did wake up, they didn't know what the outcome was going to be, and I couldn't really move much from my hips down. I didn't have much feeling, and so most doctors, if you start losing feeling, they start poking you, they start seeing if you have any feeling. And I'm a very ticklish person. My doctor went up to my foot, and he went up my foot, and I didn't even flinch. I didn't move. And so that's when he said that he didn't think that I wasn't have any feeling and didn't know how my walking was going to be. I was in the hospital for 2 days, and it came out to be that I was placed in the wheelchair, and he said that he was not sure if I was going to be able to walk. He didn't know exactly how long it would take if I was going to. He said that I could try as much as possible, but he said that he thought I was going to be wheelchair bound, and he didn't think it was going to be possible for me to walk again. And I told him, in my opinion, I'm a very determined kind of person. I don't like people telling me, no, I can't do this because of my disease. I do not like that, and I will not handle it. And so when he told me that, my perspective on all of it was that I was going to walk again. And before, in all the surgeries that I've had, in between all of them, I was a very fit person. I loved working out. I loved running. I ran about 6 miles a day before all this had happened. I was very determined in all that. And even though I didn't go anywhere, even though I couldn't do anything, I still did it in a way to keep my energy kind of up and to try and focus for most of the time. And so after when he had told me that, I wanted to get back to where I was. I wanted to do the workouts that I did. I wanted to dance again. I wanted to do everything that I could see people doing around me all the time. And so I was placed in the wheelchair, and multiple times whenever I go to physical therapy, they try moving my feet. And it's not that I was stiff, and it wasn't that I couldn't. I was weak, obviously, but I just couldn't. There was something in me that I couldn't do it. And it took them 2 months in the beginning to be able to get me to be able to move my ankles and my toes. And so I was in and out of therapy constantly. I was going 3 times a week, even if not more. And we stayed in a place called the Ronald McDonald House. That's where we lived for the 8 months that we were there. It was right across the street from the hospital, so if anything could happen, then we could always go over there. And the day that I stood up out of my wheelchair was the day that I actually knew that I was going to do it. I stood up and I was in physical therapy, and I was surrounded by so many people because I told them that I was going to do it, and everybody kept telling me, no, don't do it. You can't do it. I was holding on to the wheelchair. I might not have been on my own and standing on my own, but I was up and I was in an upright position, not sitting. And so after that, then a couple weeks after it, I had started standing up more. When when my mom would go outside, she'd go to a parking garage and she'd sit there and talk to her family, whatever. And I would be at the edge of like the wall of the parking garage, and I pull myself up. I had so much arm strength from working out all the time that I did, and I pull myself out of the wheelchair and just hold onto the wall of the parking garage and just lean over it and just stand there and just wait. And that's how I kind of was starting to walk or try and introduce the walking more. So this is probably about the 4th month into it. They told me when I was officially standing on my own, they wanted me to try and stand behind my wheelchair and see if I could even try to walk, and I couldn't. And it took me so long. It was so hard because I couldn't pick up my feet. I had to learn completely everything: how to bend my knees, how to move my toes, how to move my ankles. I had to relearn it all. And when I started standing up and they taught me how to do all of this, it was really hard. It was really, really hard on me emotionally and physically. And so I had started, one day they told me, try and walk behind your wheelchair. And this was when after I had learned how to kind of somewhat move my ankles and enough that I could, that I thought I could walk. And I ended up was behind my wheelchair, and I was able to take the first steps. I was not walking near not how a normal person would walk. I was not anywhere near that. But I was moving. I was moving on my own, assistance with the wheelchair, obviously, but I was moving at least, and there was no one holding me. And so that was my breaking point right there for me. And about a week later, they told me, when I was actually walking more and pushing my wheelchair, they told me to push my wheelchair from the Ronald McDonald House where we were staying up to the physical therapy place. And that distance that was there, I mean, there was a good distance there. And I said, okay. And when I went home that next day, when I was time for physical therapy, I left the wheelchair. I left it, I didn't push it, and I held on to my mom the whole entire way. And I walked that whole entire way. I was so tired by the time I got up there, but I did it, and that was the best day, and that was in November. And so that is when I started trying to learn. That was when I was learning how to get the walking movements, how to get everything back in. And a little funny thing that how I got around. So in the room, when I finally just gave the wheelchair up and I wasn't going to do it anymore, how I would get around was I'd lean up against the wall with my back, and I'd scoot along the wall with my back, and I'd drag my feet. That's how I got along around the room, mainly when I was in the room. Of course, whenever I'd go out, I'd hold on to something or somebody, but that was how I got around. And I was so proud of it. I was so proud of it. If I was going to walk with it for the rest of my life, it was fine. I was walking, that's all that mattered. And so when I finally started walking, I learned a lot. I think it changed my perspective on a lot of things, because you don't take, seeing, talking, all these things that we're able to do, you really don't take them for granted. And whenever they're taken from you, and you can't see or you can't talk, or you're placed in a wheelchair, and you used to do all these things before, and you see everybody else doing it around you, and you simply can't. It takes a lot from you, and it puts that motivation and drive into you to do it and to want to do it, if that's if that's how your mindset is. And that's what really got me through a lot of it, is that I couldn't sit there. I didn't like people telling me no, I couldn't do this. I didn't like seeing other people around me doing the stuff that I love to do. And I started about a year after the surgery. I, of course, was not allowed to jump, because jumping would shift and alter my brain. It would cause brain damage. And about a year and a half after I finally got cleared, I jumped for the first time, and that was crazy to me. I mean, I didn't think I'd be able to jump, and that was amazing. And so finally, this year, it was in the summer in May probably. I told myself that I was gonna start working out. I'm gonna try and get back into the shape that I was in, and start doing all the workouts that I used to do. And I went and ran for the first time. And it's been 2 years since I had that surgery. I went and ran, and I went around the block, but I mean, it was obviously something, and I was happy. But I mean, from the things that had happened, I mean, it's crazy because you don't think like stuff like this or the disease that I have can do so much in one little time period. And what can be taken away from you at any second, at any time of the day. It's really crazy, but it was a whole changing life experience. And from the time that I started working out, this year I have done a lot of the things, of course, that I was not supposed to. I had a lot of restrictions, and a lot of my restrictions, of course, were like flying or roller coasters, a lot of stuff like that. And I got to fly for the first time this year. I was not cleared to do it, but I did it, and I'm fine. And I proved them wrong that I could do it. So that's kind of a little bit of my perspective on that. But it was really hard because I didn't have a childhood. I did not have a childhood at all. I was in and out of hospitals. I was in and out of the Ronald McDonald House. I was never at home hardly. And when I was, it was for maybe 2 weeks to a month at a time. And I wasn't even going anywhere. It was difficult, and not being in public school, not having that interaction with other people was really hard. It was really, really hard. But I mean, it's been a really big change. It was a really big difference from how everything was, what I had learned from it. It was crazy, and it was definitely I wouldn't say the best thing, but it taught me so much, and it really benefited me a lot from everything. So kind of a little bit about my story.
Awesome. I was scrolling your Instagram the other day, and I saw you posted a video of the first time, or maybe it wasn't the first time, but of you walking somewhere.
Yeah.
You were relearning at the point or something. But
yeah, that was actually the third time I think I got up and walked on my own in the hallway. And it was there was more videos. I was trying to get all the videos that I had because my mom had a lot of videos of me when I was walking, and actually the first time me sitting up out of my wheelchair and walking on my own. Mm-hmm. She has those videos, but I wasn't able to get them.
What is your username, just in case anyone wants to follow you? I don't have it in front of me.
I believe it's Caylie Brown HQ.
Okay. So there you go, guys. You can see the video.
But I'm pretty sure I can show you the video.
Cool.
Let's see. How do you switch it?
Nope. No. Maybe just turn it. I'm not sure how to do it on your phone.
Oh, there it is. Just kidding. So that was how I started walking.
Yeah. When you see that, it's just so like I think we take for granted walking, and like you said, seeing and breathing and like all of those things.
You really do. And that's why I spread my story, because people, I mean, a lot of people, you know, it's just why I spread it, because a lot of people feel alone too. Like when throughout my teenage years, I felt really, really alone. I had nobody to talk to. I felt like people judged me. When I had told people what I had, they thought I was contagious. And so people would go the other way, and they wouldn't talk to me because they thought of how sick I was, that they would get it too. And then everything that was happening to me would happen to them, which is not true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys, I know that Caylie is not a Beachbody coach and she doesn't have any Beachbody tips for you to move your business forward or anything, but when I heard about her story, it just made me think that I think all of us need to remember not only not to take this opportunity and your business and everything that we give you for granted, but the things like you have the power to change somebody's life and you have the power to walk wherever you want, and fly wherever you want and do all of these things. And just not taking it for granted and realizing that you can take baby steps, like Caylie just stood up and that was really important for her. And then she slowly started to learn how to bend her knees and her ankles and all of that in life and in your business. Taking baby steps is fine, just as long as you appreciate what you're given and know what you want in life and how to move that forward. So I was excited for you to have you speak to our team. Does anyone have any questions for Caylie? Let me open up the chat.
I do, and I'm sorry if you can hear the cartoons on in the background. Caylie, do you have any more surgeries planned, or are you done with surgeries?
As of right now, no. I go and see my brain surgeon in April to see exactly what he wants to do. I have to have another MRI to see. Normally, after you have a QRI decompression, it is usually more than likely you will have one more. And the two options that they give you is they can drill a hole through your skull, and the extra fluid that's in your head will go into that hole and it'll equalize out. Because after you have the bone taken out, there's usually more fluid that flows and it's usually too much. And so there's that one, or they could put a shunt in, and the shunt's a really cool thing. It's new. It's one of the newer things. It's like basically a magnet. And so they put it in where they took out the bone, and whenever they're done, they put a magnet to your head and they shift it to create the fluid to like an equalized level basically. But as of right now, nothing yet.
That's good to hear. And cool technology. I just found out a year ago maybe that now like doctors can do incisions and surgeries from like across the country. Like that just blows my mind. I don't know how they do that. And it's obvious much smaller than what you had done.
A lot of the things that they can do is really amazing. The littlest things that they can do by just having a robot do it. I mean, it's crazy the technologies that they have. And the only thing with Chiari though is that there's no absolute cure found yet. It is still the people that have it are having still the enormous amount of issues. And so the surgeries that they have now is just kind of to help benefit and make your pain as more less. So that's still kind of up in the air with that. But
gotcha. Any other questions?
I just have one more for you, honey. What about school? Did you finish school, or did you just do homeschooling, or how did school work into everything?
I never ended up graduating. I never did. I was claimed to be homeschooled, but I was never really homeschooled. When you're homeschooled, you're supposed to be registered with the state, and I was never registered with the state. That was my mom, all on my mom, but I wasn't registered with the state. And so when this past year, I had recently moved away from my mom and with my aunt, and in October, I started my GED courses. And so now I'm doing my GED, and in April I should have it. About a week ago, I took a GED math test, and I was 2 questions off from passing. So I'm so close to getting it.
Math is the worst anyways.
Yeah, that was my worst. And that's one thing that they say is that your lowest subject, work the hardest on, so you can go take it first and get them, and the other ones will be your business. But it's not easy, because along with the QR, we also have learning problems. We also have trouble remembering, and like my multiplication facts, it took me about, I'd say 2 years probably to remember them, because we get told these things, and it's a good way to describe it is just that we're like, they always say brains are like sponges. Well, ours is obviously different, because we have all of our issues. One other little fact about it is that our brains are too big for our skulls. So that's why they have to take a lot of the bone out in most of the surgeries that they do. So it kind of puts a little trouble in there, but I've been able to do it so far. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats. It's great you're working towards that.
Yeah, my education was my biggest thing, because a lot of my family members don't have their GED or an education. And so to me, that was my biggest thing, because I was always told by some of my other family that I was never going to be able to do it, that I was never going to be able to get my GED and have the job that I want. And now I'm going after my GED and hopefully about to get it and going to go to college after that.
Nice. That's awesome. Do you know what you want to do or go to college for? Or?
I really want to try for a bachelor's degree in criminal justice.
Oh, cool.
Would absolutely love to be a border patrol. I love the police officer, Texas Rangers, the border patrol. I love it all. And so I'm really, really hoping that I can. I really, really hope that I can become a border patrol agent.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what Ashley says. That's her major.
That's cool. I know it's going to be really, really difficult, because enough as it is with my GED, I know it's going to be hard. And because I've had the most trouble with my GED. I know criminal justice. I don't know exactly what all classes I have to take, but I know it's going to be.
You'll like them. You'll like them. If you like that major, you'll be interested.
I have a feeling I will be. The whole field in itself. I really want to go towards border patrol, because I love the whole. Of course, you have to be fluent in whatever language and whatever border you're around, but I love the whole aspect of it. So.
That's exciting. Good luck.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Caylie? No? All right. Well, Caylie, I just want to thank you again for coming on our team call. Your story, keep sharing it. It is so inspiring and so humbling at the same time. So thank you for sharing it with our team. And thank you, team, for hopping on and taking the time to listen.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.